We are live. We are live. Happy Independence Day. Happy birthday, United States of America. Welcome on in. This is a PATC July 4th extravaganza. Not really. Not really. That's all I got. Welcome on in to PATC. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends if you want to support this rebel outpost, this home for the college football sickos, with a donation to help us keep the lights on. Hit that $sign where you make your comment, and I'll get to your super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. I did say yesterday that we were going to have a live show on July 4th, even if only 20 people showed up. It looks like we got our 20. So thank you all. I'm very humbled that you would join PATC on a July 4th when you are with your loved ones, your family, having a great time, celebrating our independence, celebrating our Declaration of Independence. John Hancock and the rest of them signed that piece of paper and signed it so large. John Hancock signed it so large that King George could see it without his glasses. Anyways, happy July 4th, everybody. I appreciate you all coming on in. This is going to be a very simple show. Simple show. We're going to be talking about Michigan. Michigan Wolverines are the spotlight team for today. The 2023 national champions. Greg the Gold, Greg the Gold, do not have Michigan in the playoffs in my way to early predictions. I only got 3 Big Ten teams in the playoffs. And I got Oregon as an 11th seed, and that was before they lost Evan Stewart, their wide receiver. Am I going to put Michigan, am I going to slip the Wolverines into the official predictions here coming in early August? I don't know. I don't think I'm going to change my mind. I think Michigan is going to win a lot of games. I think they're going to be a bubble team. There is something. Now they got a lot of dudes. They lost a lot of dudes, but they got a lot of dudes. Michigan has got a lot of. There is something about this team that scares me. That has me saying, no, I can't go there. I can't have Michigan join in the Nittany Lions, the Buckeyes, and the Ducks to get into the playoffs. Now, Wolverines, there's a lot of Wolverine fans in the PATC family, and you're probably saying, Greg, you're being too tough on us again. Maybe. Maybe I am. But maybe I'm not. There is something I'm gonna share it when we go to the spotlight. And it's not about Bryce Underwood. It's about the question, is Bryce Underwood going to get enough support to reach whatever ceiling he has when it comes to playing as a true freshman in the Big Ten? So we are going to hit Michigan. Michigan is today's spotlight team. There is a lot to love, a lot to like about Michigan, but there's something bothering me. And maybe a Wolverine in the PATC family can settle me down, say, fat guy from Minnesota, you're just jealous. You don't have the little brown jug. You're not thinking of in your right mind. Let me explain it to you. Explain it in the chat. Give me a phone call after the monologue and explain to me how Michigan is going to make the playoffs. And then we're going to talk about Felix Ojo. Everybody's got an opinion on Felix Ojo. The 5-star recruit that the Texas Tech Red Raiders just got a commitment. We're going to be looking at this. Now, I'm supposed to have a strong opinion on everything because I'm the host of college football's Peek Around the Corner. I'm supposed to have a strong opinion, and you all are supposed to say, Greg, once again, your cheese have slipped off your cracker. You are a moron, and you are incorrect. I don't really have a strong opinion on this. I can tell that a lot of people do on both sides, but I don't. The reason why we're going to talk about this today, because I don't know how many more opportunities we're going to be able to talk about a certain Revshare contract. My first question, and for those who do not know, Felix Ojo, big-time recruit out of Texas, number 6 overall prospect, whatever. He's 5-star. Most of the big programs were going after him, and he committed to Texas Tech. And there was an announcement about what type of Revshare deal Felix Ojo is getting from Texas Tech. My first question. So we're doing this today because I want to hear your comments. I want to know what you guys are thinking. But this is a great opportunity to talk about it on July 4th because I don't believe we are going to know a lot about these contracts. We're not supposed to know. My first question is why did the agent put this out there? Why do we know the money breakdown for Felix Ojo from year 1, year 2, and year 3? Why do we even have that much detail? Now, don't get me wrong. I love it. I've been saying this for a year. I want all this to be public. It ain't gonna be. But I want it all, baby. If this was all public, we've talked about it. PATC family, we've talked about it. We've talked about the amount of content we would get. The amount of all of us discussing, oh boy, Duke is paying way too much for that backup right tackle. Oh boy, UCF is paying way too much for that kicker. I mean, it would be endless. It would be beautiful, but we're not going to get it. We're not going to get it. We're not going to get it. But we got it today. Why did we get it today? Why did this agent leak this information out? Is he trying to prop himself up for other big-time football players out there, high school class, and now he can say, look what I got, Ojo. I can, look what I did here. Is he trying to advertise himself? Because I got to believe, regardless of whatever side of the ledger you are on, good deal for Texas Tech or bad deal for Texas Tech, it is not a good thing for the Red Raiders to have this agent leaking out this information. There's no upside to it for the Texas Red Raiders point of view. In fact, there are lawyers that have come out on X and said most of these deals, or all the deals I've seen, are confidential. These Revshare deals are confidential. Why is this agent putting it out there? Again, I love it. I love it. I love it. But why is it out there? I'm glad it is. But it does no good for Texas Tech. And we'll get into more why I think it does no good for Texas Tech. You can easily negative recruit against the numbers. We'll get into that later. But so it's a big story out there. And now your question might be, Greg, how can you not have a strong opinion on this? Haven't you seen the message boards? Haven't you seen X? Haven't you seen the Red Raiders come to the defense of Texas Tech And haven't you seen some Big 12 fan bases come to the defense of Texas Tech? Greg, haven't you seen the Penn State Nittany Lions, the Alabama Crimson Tide, the Buckeyes, the Longhorns? Haven't you seen all them attack the Texas Tech Red Raiders and say what a stupid deal this is? Way too much money for a freshman offensive tackle. Way too high a percentage of a rev share going to one player. Greg, how can you not have a strong opinion either way? My answer, before we get into all this, my answer simply is, I don't have enough information. Even though we received in great detail what the rev share number is, I don't know everything that is going on in the Texas Tech Red Raiders rev share budget. Did they plan for this? Did they carve out a space for this? Did they front load their NIL so much before the clearinghouse became real? Did the Red Raiders front load their NIL deal among the offensive line, current players and prospective players, players that are coming in? Did they front load them so much? Did the NIL money, before the clearinghouse took place, do they have it all cushioned up where these players are getting high compensation and they don't really have any rev share money or little rev share money earmarked inside their O-line budget to where they can afford an average of $1.7 million going to a five-star offensive tackle? It could be. It could be. I don't know. There are other variables involved here, and we're going to get into it. I'm not saying this is a good gamble, a good deal by Texas Tech. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Only, again, it's going to come down to the young man's play on the field. I'm not saying that. But there are other variables in play, and we don't know what those are. So we're going to go into it. We are this whole roster construction, NIL and rev share, is such a fascinating topic. There is going to be disagreement among all fan bases within the same fan base. If we only knew the contracts of all these players, if we only knew the NIL money going to these players, if we only had that information, holy smokes, it would be a wonderful thing, but we don't. We don't. So we're going to get into that MBM. Holy smokes. Look at that super chat. Oklahoma State Cowboys. We're going to be doing Oklahoma State Cowboys in the Indiana Hoosiers next week. Both of them are going to be under the PATC spotlight. Are you going to like what you see once we have the glaring lights of PATC? I don't know. Maybe. MBM, thank you so much, kind sir. Thank you for your incredible generosity. Days, weeks, and months. My goodness. MBM, an incredible, valuable, I love that avatar, an incredible, valuable member of the PATC family. Thank you, MBM. I'm so appreciated. Thank you. Very humbled by all your support. Expedition Greg, thank you so much for your super chat. Mr. Buckeye. Buckeyes were in the hunt for Felix Ojo. John Teal, thank you so much. 5-star alignment is always a good deal. Sure. Up until a certain point. I don't know. We're going to look at it. We're going to dig deep into it. Getting a 5-star is always a good deal, except, there's a risk-benefit analysis that has to be done. And you got to believe that the Texas Tech Red Raiders, they know. I mean, they're not, they got a general manager. They're looking at this. They're saying, oh, boy, how do we get this guy in? Is he worth it? Is he worth it? Then we're going to maybe have to overpay. Maybe take a little bit more of the percentage, the overall percentage of our rev share to get this guy. Maybe we're going to be one piece away 2 years from now to possibly battle for the national championship. Who knows? I mean, there is a certain cost. Look, the other big time programs that were involved, they obviously had a limit to where they would want to go to get a Felix Ojo. Maybe none of them wanted to go to the 1.2 million for year one or end up at 2.1 million in year 3. Maybe it's just a little bit too much. Remember the Buckeyes, we're going to get into this because it's fascinating on so many different levels. The Buckeyes, they've got Revshare contracts lined up. These teams have already got 5 stars and 4 stars lined up. Maybe they don't have that Revshare space. And maybe Felix did not want to take a chance on an NIL deal submission that might not get. Maybe he just wanted whatever Texas Tech could get him on NIL, which is probably going to be pretty good. But maybe he want that committed contract. And maybe Texas Tech's contract is written in such a way that Felix Ojo is going to get the money regardless of injury, regardless of performance, regardless if he's ever named third team, second team, first team, Big 12. We don't know. We don't know if the contract has Felix Ojo the ability to renegotiate his rev share contract. Maybe the other offers did not have that possible renegotiation. Again, we do not know, but we're going to get through it. Thank you, John Till. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it coming on in. Bruce Harris is in the house. Don Scruggs, AMAC, MBM. More tech talk. MBM, we're going to talk Cowboys this week. We're going to talk Cowboys. AMAC is in the house. Charlie Atwood, Caleb Ramirez, the Buffalo, Richard L., Otto Raider. Apparently we're not done. Healing, Florida is in the house. Edward, the Auburn Tiger, is here. Don Scruggs, Laura Weiss, the Red Raider. This was a great birthday present for me. Wow. Isn't that something? Laura Weiss got a birthday present, and the present is Felix Ojo. Aww. Sean is in the house. Skaven Yes is here. Bill G, Jose, Bruce Harris, Jason Spangler, John Dry's here. Bobby Hansen, Stormy Cyclone. It's a warm day. A cold break is good. Wow. Dante's Inferno Purgatory is in the house. How do you rev share before a season is played? You commit a contract, a rev share contract to a future player. That player ain't going to come around until next year. This is a high school class commitment. Felix Ojo, unless he gets declassified, is coming on in next year. But part of the recruitment of these players is a committed rev share agreement. That's part of it. That's all part of the recruiting. NIL, I think we can get you this. I think we can make it good. I think we can submit this in. The Revshare, we can make this good. We can make this good. Whatever. Look, Tulane will give a player $120,000. Memphis is going to get that same player $80,000. The player has to decide 120, 80 Revshare deals. It's all part of the recruiting. It's all part of it. Movie Time Blues is in the house. Gold Black 45 is here. Bob Swanger, Steel Austin, Ryan Willie, thank you so much. I appreciate it, Ryan Willie. Locked On Big Ten Squad has totally disrespected Bucky Badger. With a bottom third finish, I predict wins versus Miami of Ohio, Middle Tennessee, Maryland, Michigan, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Minnesota. And losses against Bama, Oregon, and Ohio State. Ryan Willie, I think your cheese have slipped off your cracker. But I do acknowledge your incredible support for your Badger squad. But you also have been going after your head coach, Luke Fickell. So I think your optimism wanes. It goes up and down, just like really any other fan. Thank you, Ryan Willie. I do appreciate your super chat. Thank you so much. Very kind, sir. Appreciate it a lot. Antoine Johnson is in the house. No one is given 25. I don't quite understand. Nobody's given 25% of everything for an offensive lineman. We better get through the article here. I think a lot of people don't quite understand what this contract is. Rock and rant. Eventually there's going to be some serious locker room tension. All these schools with disproportionate. Yeah, these contracts. Again, why did this come out in public? That is the one big question. But I'm glad it did. First of all, let's go to the Michigan Spotlight. The Michigan Wolverines. True freshman Bryce Underwood. At high school, his last year, senior season, over 3,300 yards passing, 44 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 199 yards rushing, 7 rushing TDs in high school. It looks like Bryce Underwood, the number 1 high school quarterback in the class, it looks like he's going to be QB1, game 1 against New Mexico. It looks like Bryce Underwood is going to be QB1, game 2 at Oklahoma, in Norman, Oklahoma. Now, again, Bryce Underwood, I've always said this. There's a big difference, in my opinion, and I think historically it shows it out. A big difference between a true freshman quarterback, and a redshirt freshman quarterback. Even if that redshirt freshman quarterback hasn't faced any live bullets, any live action, there is still a big difference. Bryce Underwood probably isn't going to go anywhere close to his true ceiling this season. We're going to see some flashes of brilliance, most likely. We're going to see some struggles, most likely. My problem with Michigan, it's not because of Bryce Underwood being a true freshman quarterback, or at least not directly. I'll get into it in a moment. Bryce Underwood going to be starting as a true freshman. Got a lot of talent. He ain't going to be the worst Big Ten quarterback. He might not be the best Big Ten quarterback, but he's going to be in the upper half, most likely than the lower half. It's going to be very exciting to see the emergence, the growth of Mr. Underwood for the Michigan Wolverines. There's something else that is bothering me. We're going to get into a moment when it comes to the Michigan Wolverines. Transfer running back from Alabama, Justice Haynes. He's finally going to get the rock. He's going to get it at Michigan. Alabama, he got some playing time, 448 yards rushing, 5.7 average per rush, 7 rushing touchdowns, 17 receptions. There was a lot of interest in Justice Haynes in the portal. Michigan got him. Now, it's a little bit of an unknown, right? It's a little bit of an unknown because he really hasn't been RB1, but the talent is obvious. Justice Haynes is not my problem with Michigan. Let's go on to the next guy. Jordan Marshall, RB2. A true freshman last season. 120 yards, 3.9 average per rush. But Jordan Marshall, he didn't play at all until that bowl game against Alabama. And he had a couple of runs in there which showed you that Jordan Marshall is going to be a very good running back, in my opinion, in the Big Ten. So I got no problem with Jordan Marshall. None whatsoever. That's not the problem. Here is my problem. This is why I don't have Michigan in the playoffs. I got them as a bubble team, but I don't got them getting into the playoffs. This is the reason why. Now, I've got Donovan McCulley listed here, wide receiver, transfer from Indiana. Okay? This was his 2023 stats. 48 catches, 644 receiving yards, 13.4 average per catch, 6 receiving touchdowns. Now, he didn't play, I think he played a couple of games last year. I think he had 2 catches. Got out of Indiana, now at Michigan. Forget about 2024, though. Forget about that he did not play at all. 2022 was his first year as a college receiver. And he caught like 16 balls. The year before that, Donovan McCulley was a quarterback at Indiana. In high school, he was a quarterback who played some receiver. Donovan McCulley had one decent season. He was never Indiana receiver number 1. He didn't really play last year. Okay? Samaj Morgan, I suppose I could have put him up there. Michigan wide receiver, going to be a junior this year. But Samaj Morgan, he had 27 catches last season. In an interview during the offseason, he praised Michigan's new offensive coordinator, Chip Lindsey, saying they finally got me running routes. He basically went after the other former offensive coordinator at Michigan last year. But because they basically ran bubble screens for Samaj Morgan. But Samaj Morgan hasn't really proven really anything, guys. He may be good. He's a small dude. They had him running bubble screens. Donovan McCulley, I mean, or you could bring up Frederick Moore, who had 11 catches last year. He's a junior. What I'm saying is, Bryce Underwood is a true freshman, and his top receivers, none of them are truly established producers at the college level. I mean, Donovan McCulley is the nearest one. And he hasn't played a whole lot of football at wide receiver. He didn't even play last year, or very little. So it's the combination of a true freshman with these wide receivers. Now, in running backs, in which neither one of them have been an RB1, I mean, it's really a lot. The offensive skill position at Michigan, I don't know if it can get to the playoff. I mean, I think there's going to be too much pressure on Bryce Underwood. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think there is that reliable marquee offensive player that's going to be able to help Bryce Underwood through. That's my take. Now they're going to be great on defense. Derek Moore, first team, all Big Ten preseason defensive end. He's a monster. He's going to have a monster season this year. Michigan is loaded on defense. No question about it. But I think they're going to end up short. They start the season in New Mexico, as we've said. They go to Norman, Oklahoma, on September 6th. And we're going to learn a lot about Bryce Underwood, throwing to McCulley, throwing to Morgan, I don't know if all that's going to work. I don't know if all that is going to work. They play Central Michigan at Nebraska, at home against Wisconsin, at USC, Washington, at Michigan State, Purdue, Northwestern, Maryland. They've got a pretty good, comfortable schedule between October 25th and when they play Ohio State November 29th. So if Michigan can start the season 5-1, 6-1, defeat the Trojans at USC, then Michigan's got a shot at getting to the playoffs. But I'm going to go bet against it. I don't think Michigan is going to quite get there, in my opinion. You let me know your opinion. That was the PATC Spotlight. I do not like the fact that Michigan doesn't have unless one of these juniors, they don't have an emerging star. They don't have the juice to go along with Bryce Underwood, an established veteran producer at the wideout position, in my opinion. But you let me know that I got it all wrong. Once again, Michigan Wolverines going to have a good season, but not quite going to get to the playoffs. Bill G, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. Happy 4th of July, Bill G, and to your family. Matt Higgins, Jansen Roberts, Richard, Jeremy Nork, and Kevin Fox. You all have been knighted, officially knighted, because of the great generosity of Bill G. Knighted Cloak and Dagger. Thank you, Bill G. When you get an opportunity, please say thank you to Bill G. Matt, Jansen, Richard, Jeremy, and Kevin. Thank you, Bill G, for all that you've done for a program, for shelling out so many gifted memberships. Thank you so very much. Appreciate it. Ryan Willie. I thought I had another Ryan Willie here. Hold on. Something's screwed up. There we go. Sorry about that, Ryan. Fickle is gone if they finish in the bottom third of the Big Ten. Dupree Jones will make Swiss cheese of Minnesota's defense. Well, that might be so, but Minnesota will probably put on 35 to 40 points against the evil Badgers in November, late November, at Minneapolis. Thank you, Ryan. Really appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much for your kindness, sir. But the axe is staying home. The axe is staying home. Okay, I see a lot of comments. I see a lot of comments in the comments section. Let's talk about this. Did the Texas Tech Red Raiders make a good deal or a bad deal? And my opinion is, I don't have one. There is a lot to look at here, and we're going to go through it. Breaking news. 5-star OT Felix Ojo has committed to the Texas Tech Red Raiders, the program's highest rated commitment in history. Keegan Pope on 3. 5-star Felix Ojo spurns in-state Texas and commits to the Red Raiders. Mansfield, Texas Lake Ridge. 5-star offensive tackle Felix Ojo has committed to Texas Tech as the Red Raiders pull off a late shaka to beat out in-state rival, the Texas Longhorns. In addition to the Longhorns, Felix Ojo chose Tech over the Sooners, the Wolverines, the Buckeyes, and the Rebels, among more than 30 other offers. Ojo is the number 6 overall prospect, number 3 offensive tackle in the 26th cycle, according to On3 industry ranking, a weighted average that utilizes all 4 major recruiting media companies. It's a landmark recruiting win for head coach Joey McGuire, whose staff made an 11th hour push to land the number 1 player in the Lone Star State. The 6'6", 275-pounder did not include the Red Raiders in his top schools list, but Texas Tech staff remained in contact with them and leveraged their opportunities on and off the field to ultimately win out. He joins the 2024 5-star plus wide receiver Micah Hudson, who transferred from Tech to the Longhorns and then back to Lubbock this offseason as the highest ranked commitments ever for the program. His addition continues a major hot streak for McGuire and company, who beat out Michigan for 4-star safety Donovan Webb on Tuesday, and a host of programs on Wednesday for 4-star running back Ace Rowdy. Felix Ojo scouting summary. We're not going to go through the whole thing. Frame, length, physicality to develop into a top prospect. Measured about 6'6", 275. Lean, long frame. Should be able to add considerable mass once in a college strength program. Long arms, punches palpable, both on film and in camp. Latches on to defensive linemen, manipulates them into will, plays with a nasty edge, working to finish blocks, flashes dominance as a run blocker. Now, Eli Letterman, ESPN, gave us more details on this deal. 5-star OT Felix Ojo commits to Texas Tech, lands $5 million deal. Five-star offensive tackle. We went through that already. 7-figure revenue share contract with the Red Raiders. His agent, Derek Shelby of Prestige Management, told ESPN, "Why are you talking Derek Shelby? Why are you saying this out in public?" Makes no sense to me. There's no upside to that. Now, Felix Ojo chose Texas Tech over finalists Florida, Michigan, Ohio State, Texas, following a slate of official visits this spring. If he signs with the Red Raiders later this year, Ojo will arrive as the program's highest-ranked addition since ESPN began ranking high school prospects in the 2006 recruiting cycle. Per Shelby, Ojo is set to join Texas Tech on a fully guaranteed 3-year, $5.1 million. The 3 years are 1.2, 1.6, 2.1. Okay? Those are the 3 years. Now again, we don't know exactly how much Texas Tech is going to be paying in Revshare money for their football program. It's probably going to be around $14 to $16 million. Somewhere around that number. You don't do the whole 20.5 to your football program. So this offensive tackle is going to be making $1.2 million his first year, $1.6 million his second, and $2.1 million his third. Fully guaranteed. So we don't know what the other offers were. We do not know if the other offers were fully guaranteed. Right? These players, they're going to have options. They're going to be looking at these offers. This is not NIL. This is not NIL. This is Revshare. The deal is believed to be one of the largest fully guaranteed revenue share agreements in college football history. Ojo deal now rivals the lucrative multi-year package top-ranked 2026 offensive tackle Jackson Cantwell, secured from Miami. Football is a brutal sport, and athletes are not able to play professionally until their graduating class has been in college 3 years, Shelby told ESPN. It was important to be able to secure Felix Ojo's future and give him and his family security as he continues to develop into a first-round NFL draft pick. Ojo's agreement with Texas Tech marks the school's latest move in a string of significant expenditures over the last year. And we've reported on a lot of that. Ojo's list of official visits this spring included Colorado, Florida, Michigan, Ohio State, Ole Miss, Utah, Texas. Sources tell ESPN that Texas and Utah were among the programs that offered Ojo the most substantial revenue share contract in the final stages of his recruitment. Were among the programs that offered Ojo. We don't know who offered the most. We don't know if Texas and Utah's deal was fully guaranteed. We just don't know. We're never going to know. Ojo represents Texas Tech first ESPN 300 edition among 18 prospects committed to the program in the 26th cycle, a group that includes 13 in-state pledges. He lands as a cornerstone commit in a Red Raiders offense line class that also features a pair of spring pledges in 3-star offensive guard Gerald Mays and offensive tackle Jacob Crow. Josh Pola, I don't know how to say his name, I apologize. The NFL rookie scale for the number 65 pick in the 2025 NFL draft was for 4 years, $6.7 million, 1.689 each year. Felix Ojo is guaranteed $1.7 million. A little bit more. Rough breakdown of Felix Ojo deal includes a significant escalator per his agent. 1.2 million year 1, 1.6 million year 2, 2.1 million in year 3. Okay, I need to explain something because a lot of people are really getting mixed up here. Those numbers make no sense, Jason Spangler. There's definitely going to be an investigation. Hope that Texas Tech knows what they're doing. Okay. Revshare is different than NIL. Each NIL deal has to be submitted to the clearinghouse. Revshare, you can put up any contract you want in a Revshare with the player. The only thing that is going to be investigated potentially by the sports commission if your team is going, if your whole athletic department is going over the $20.5 million in Revshare that you can give out. There is a cap. There is no cap to give to a single player. None whatsoever. Somebody could have offered Felix Ojo $2 million a year. Maybe somebody did and it wasn't fully guaranteed. We do not know. So there's no like, now you can say that the Red Raiders are gambling too much money on a particular player. You can say Felix Ojo, he's not all that good. He's got a lot of work to do. Or you might say, yeah, he's going to be pretty good, but it's too much money for one player. All those arguments are good. But we don't know the following. We don't know, for example, if Texas Tech, remember the Red Raiders front-loaded a lot of NIL deals over the last year. They're paying out a lot of name, image, and likeness deals before the clearinghouse became real. So you could go to town on those NIL deals. What if the Texas Tech Red Raiders spent a whole lot of money on their current and prospective offensive linemen that are coming and playing this year? What if they got a whole bunch of NIL deals set up for the next 3 years? What if Texas Tech is only spending a couple $100,000 currently earmarked for their offensive line for the next 3 years? You get what I'm saying? What if the Red Raiders put a lot of NIL money on their offensive line? And in their Revshare budget, let's say the Red Raiders are going to spend $15 million on football. They're going to have an O-line budget It's going to be a little flexible, but they're going to have a quarterback run just like everybody else. And what if that O-line budget for the next 3 years? What if the Red Raiders don't really have any money earmarked for the O-line for the next 3 years because they were able to load up all these huge NIL deals for the O-line for the next 3 years? Something that they could not do with this gentleman. This NIL deal, whatever NIL deal Felix Ojo is going to get, it's going to have to be submitted through the clearinghouse. So the chances are he's probably not going to get as much as before the clearinghouse came into play. He may get still a really good deal. But we're saying that they spent too much money on Felix Ojo, too much money on one player. But what if it fits? What if it does fit in their budget? What if Texas Tech truly believes in this player, truly believes in him, 5-star, and this is an opportunity for them to grab him, and they've got this money earmarked for the O-line, and it's available. Let's try to go get him. Let's offer him fully guaranteed, and now they get him. Now, on the other end, of course, this is a huge, no matter what, that's a lot of money being spent on a player that hasn't even played it down yet. But other guys are getting this. Okay? Other 5-stars are getting this. Also, we've got to also understand that the Revshare budget is going to go up next year and the year after that. So when you're trying to figure out the percentage of Felix Ojo, $1.2 million versus the $16 million in year one, his $1.6 million in year two, you better not use that $20.5 million. It's going to go up. It ain't going to be $20.5 million next year. It's going to be a little bit higher. Also, I want to say this. In this new Revshare world, every team, maybe not to this grand of scale, but every team, every football roster is going to have a Felix Ojo. Now, I'm going to take Texas Tech out of the discussion because there's a lot of Texas Tech's got big NIL money. They got Cody guy. Let's just take Texas Tech out of it. Let's bring in a different football program. Let's pretend we're talking about the Iowa State Cyclones, who, based on public reports, struggling to meet the $20.5 million. Let's say Iowa State is spending $13.5 million on their football program. Iowa State's going to have a Felix Ojo. Iowa State is going to overpay, quote unquote, for somebody. For a guy that they legitimately are in the hunt for. A big-time college football player, a recruit that in the past Iowa State would not be able to get. But because of this Revshare, Iowa State is going to overpay and try to get somebody in, try to win a recruiting war based upon a contract that is extremely favorable to that player, to fit that one spot that they think they need. Maybe a guy that they know can sell tickets at Ames, Iowa. Not that they have problems selling tickets at Iowa State. And I'm just using the Cyclones as an example. You can use anybody. Anybody you want. Wake Forest. Wake Forest, there's going to be a player out there that is going to be their Felix Ojo. They're going to overpay. They're going to win a recruiting battle against North Carolina. They're going to win a recruiting battle against the Duke Blue Devils. Everybody's going to have a player or two or three. And here is another reality to the Revshare era. These 5-star, Texas Tech, they're on a roll, right? They got big NIL money. It's still going to be big money even under the clearinghouse. It's just going to be less impactful. But the programs that have the NIL advantage are still going to have the NIL advantage, even in this clearinghouse era. But it's going to be less. It's going to be somewhat less. I don't know how much less. Some of these deals are going to be denied using the framework of NBA, NFL, NIL deals. Some of these most ludicrous NIL deals are going to be denied. But for the most part, the programs that have the NIL advantage are going to continue to have the NIL advantage. But this Revshare is a big time recruiting tool, a recruiting war, and they're going to be programs that are going to load up on a recruit that they think they have a connection with. They're going to load up and they're going to outduel the big time programs once in a while. We've already seen it, and I think we're going to continue to see it. A consistent spreading out of the top talent coming on in every high school class or even in the portal. More programs are getting more studs. It's a little bit thinner at the top. Your Buckeyes, your Wolverines, your Georgia Bulldogs, your Longhorns, on and on and on, the big time programs, they're not going to quite have the depth that they've had. They're not going to be able to afford it. They got to pay their big time players. They're in recruiting battles. The Longhorns are looking, these top programs are looking to pay these a whole bunch of top players. But they're not going to have the expensive backups. People are going to go where the money is. People are going to go where the playing time is. We are going to see a little bit more of the 4-star, once in a while a 5-star, go to a program that it doesn't have a historical winning record. That is not a blue blood, because the money is there for them to grab. Because of the Revshare, we're seeing a sea change. Now, the top programs are still going to be the top programs. But it's going to come down to more of how smart you are in picking the players that you want to pay, right? And developing those players and being able to keep those players. Getting them on a contract. And if they hit, you're good. If they don't hit, then you're in trouble. So Felix Ojo comes on in at Texas Tech and he does not develop. Or, God forbid, he gets injured. That's fully guaranteed Revshare money. That can't go to other players. Fully guaranteed Revshare money that you're not going to be able to just wipe out. So it's a gamble. It is a gamble. And I am not going to, I'll let you guys decide if it's a good deal or a bad deal. There's just too much unknown for me. But everybody is going to have Anybody that's not a blue blood is going to have a Felix Ojo, a couple of them, where you're just going to outbid Oklahoma. You're just going to outbid Penn State. You're just going to outbid that blue blood. It's close. It's a battle. And you, as a non-blue blood, are willing to go over the top and overpay. It's going to happen. So, anyways, I'm going to get you phone calls. Big Gun Shop. Are we getting shows this weekend, Greg? I hope so. I think so. I think that's what we're going to do. We never really know. We keep your head on a swivel. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and have those notifications turned on. We can come on live at any time. I'm hoping we do it. Okay. Now again, we're taking time to talk about this today because most of the time, we're not going to know these deals. We're not going to know the numbers. We're not going to know the NIL deals. We're not even finding out how many or whose NIL deals have been denied by the clearinghouse. You know, some deals have been denied. Some have been reworked, resubmitted. The Revshare numbers, the Revshare deals, there's probably a lot of crazy ones out there that if we all looked at them, we would all consider them crazy. But we're not seeing it. It's not becoming public. And 99% of these deals are not going to become public. Why did this one become public? I have no idea. Very, very strange. Anyways, the phone lines are open. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. Give me a call and talk about anything in college football that your heart desires. Texas Tech is so transparent with their money. D. Wayne, nobody is being transparent with their money. This came from the agent. Texas Tech is not, they're not telling, all Texas Tech has to do is make sure that the sports commission knows exactly who is getting paid what under the rev share. All Texas Tech has to do is make sure that Deloitte Clearinghouse gets every single submitted deal. Every deal's got to be submitted within 5 days of the signing. That's it. Texas Tech is not going to let anybody know their deals. Nobody. Just like every other program. Thank you, Expedition Greg. Appreciate it. Texas Tech's getting a lot of exposure. Even in the pros, there are good deals and bad deals. Nick Kelso. So Super League exit clause was the minimum of 6 schools leaving in football, only for $68 million each. 6 or more schools leaving for a conference or a league. It's got to be a single sport league. And we don't know how much it would cost. I mean, if it happens next year, I still think it's $82.5 million. Each, not 68. But I might be off a little bit. So you're saying that 80 players on a football team aren't going to know what everyone else on the team is making? How could you know exactly what another player is making? It's not going to be listed anywhere. There's going to be a dashboard. There's going to be a dashboard in which the agents, the general managers, the athletic directors are going to be looking at, and they're going to be able to see the average money paid per offensive tackle in Revshare. But they're not going to be able to see that Jason Spangler made $220,000. No, the Revshare payments are not going public. God, I wish they were. It would be spectacular for this college football YouTube channel, for college football fans. It would be incredible, but they're not. This one became public, and I don't know why. Texas pays Arch Manning $0, and all of his money is legit NIL. Well, Mr. SEC, Arch Manning, all of his NIL money came before the clearinghouse. So yeah, it doesn't have to be submitted. Now, whether it's legit or not, I don't know. It doesn't matter, does it? I'm sure that, it's a very good possibility that Arch Manning is getting $0 in Revshare. Cheeseburgers are being sold inside Holy Smokes Theater, 2 for $5 special. Dwayne, college football needs Texas Tech to make the CFB playoff and win a few games. It's good for the sport. I tell you who needs Texas Tech to get to the Big 12 championship game, and that is Joey McGuire. We already had a live show about a month ago. We had a live show titled Joey McGuire is on the hot seat. Because the expectations are through the roof for the Red Raiders. Because of all the money they have spent. And Joey McGuire's done a pretty good job. The Red Raiders have gotten to 3 straight bowl games. Historically, he's done a good job. People believe in him at Lubbock. He should not be on the hot seat. But because of all this continuous, the expectations are through the roof on the guy. Expedition Greg, Arch is overhyped and he will be outdone by Julian Sand. I was watching the Mark Rogers show. Great show. The godfather of college football YouTube channels. He was on with that Deese guy, Michigan guy. And Deese was saying that he was listening to a Ohio State podcast from an ex-football player. I can't remember the guy's name. And Deese was saying that the Ohio State podcaster said that I was at like 12 spring practices. And Julian Sand did not separate himself from Kleinholz at all. That he was extremely worried about Julian Sand. So hopefully for the Buckeyes, that Julian Sand can play much better than what this former Buckeye podcaster was saying. We shall see. We shall see. Yeah, I don't blame Mark for that big gun shop. I can understand why you guys have your own decision making. I don't know what Mark knows or doesn't know about the gentleman you just put on your comment screen. I think if he knew, he'd probably make a different decision. I've been on the Mark Rogers show twice. I'm very fortunate he invited me. I just was on there about a month ago. And I'm sure a lot of people tell Mark, I'm not going to watch your show no more because you had that fat guy from Minnesota on the show. And he's probably like, so I don't blame Mark for that. James Davis, public schools will have to tell these deals because it comes from tax money. Well, so far, it's not seemed to be the case. I would love it, Mr. Davis. I would absolutely love it. Okay, phone line's been open. Doesn't look like anyone's interested in calling. So I guess we'll just call it for the day. Just wanted to do a quick live show, talk about the Texas Tech good deal or bad deal for Felix Ojo. I really do not have an opinion on it, but hopefully I brought out a lot of things to think about. But I think everyone's going to have a Felix Ojo on their team. Somebody that they maybe overpay to make sure they get their guy that they want to outduel a big-time program. We'll see how it works. All eyes on Felix Ojo for next season. This year, it's all eyes on the Red Baron, the quarterback. All eyes on Joey McGuire, the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Maybe they don't have to make the Big 12 championship game this year, but they got a challenge for it. They got a battle for it. They got to get close to it. Or Joey McGuire, the whole thing might collapse. A lot of pressure on Joey McGuire, a lot of excitement in Lubbock, Texas. A lot of excitement in Red Raider Nation. Thanks for joining me on a Friday, July 4th. I do appreciate it. If you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. I do appreciate all the support you all have given us here. MBM, thank you so much for your big old super chat and all your support. Thank you, MBM. Expedition Greg, thank you so much, kind sir. John Teal, Ryan Willie, Bill G, for all your gift memberships. Thank you so very much. The Big Gun Shop, appreciate it. Thank you guys. No phone calls. Nobody wanted to talk to the fat guy from Minnesota. I don't blame you. I don't blame you a bit. Go enjoy your July 4th. Go and enjoy with your loved ones, family, and remember those who have served our country to give us, to keep us the freedoms that we have. Until next time, from all of us at College Football's Peek Around the Corner, to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.